We're here with David Huerta, president of SEIU USWW. Could you tell us about why your union decided to sponsor the Caravan from California to Texas, the Caravan Against Fear?
Sure. Well, we thought that this moment in time, especially this moment in time, as a result of the elections on November 8th, that is a moment that we have to really get out there and really organize against the fear that currently exists in our communities. There's a lot of people who live in the immigrant community right now who are fear of deportation, fear of separation of family, fear of going to drop off their kids at school, fear of going to work. And we want to be able to go out there and really organize folks to let them know they are not alone, and that we have to be able to overcome our fear, because we cannot let fear become a paralysis of our community.
So this fear is something tangible that you're feeling in your communities since the elections?
Absolutely. I mean, people have seen on the news of mothers and fathers being separated from their children, being detained at school while they're dropping off their children. And this really works into the psyche of the immigrant, right? And they feel that there's a fear out there of coming out of the shadows. And we in California have worked really hard to bring immigrants out of the shadows and make them part of our community. And we don't want people going backwards and going back into living back in the shadows. When a worker or a member of our community lives in fear, they're more vulnerable to crimes, being victims of crime. They're more vulnerable to being exploited by their employers. And we want to make sure that people are not going to be exploited, that people are not going to live their lives in fear. We are California's better than that.
What are the specific objectives of the Caravan?
Well, there's several objectives. One is to, like I just said, educate our community, let them know that they do have rights, let them know that they have to prepare themselves as well to defend themselves. Also, how is it that we as a community can come behind the bills that are right now moving to the state capitol, such as SB 54 and AB 450. SB 54 is a sanctuary, establishes sanctuary state and places of protections for immigrants. And then two, on AB 450 is a bill that creates like workplace sanctuary. So workers have a right to due process in case of an I-9 audit or workplace raid. And also preparing for what is May 1st. May 1st is, for us, is an opportunity to get the community out onto the streets and really advocate for themselves and for the broader term of justice for all our communities.
May 1st
demonstrations, yes. As we saw on January 21st with the Women's March, it was an amazing day to demonstrate the unity of resistance against this administration, and we think this is another opportunity to do that, starting from the immigrant community, but really building ourselves out. So we're advocating for all communities, not just one community.
Well, your union has become very active since the elections in the defense of rights and to avoid what many are seeing as an increase in human rights violations. Are you seeing a growth in political activism and resistance within the communities you work with?
Well, we saw the same thing we saw on January 21st with the Women's March. We saw millions of people across the country come out and spend a day in protest. We're seeing that on a constant basis now as a result of this new administration. We're seeing in our community more and more people willing to step up and fight for their rights like we've never seen before. So we think that there's a spark that's happening in our community, in all communities, of resistance against this administration. So we think right now is a perfect opportunity for us to really, work with that spark, work with the community organizations, work with labor organizations, work with the faith community, faith organizations, and see how we can continue to advocate for immigrant rights and rights for all people.
Sounds like an unprecedented moment in U.S. history. Thank you, David Huerta, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.